Oh, wow. Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Release Weight, Regain Your Life. It sounds dramatic, but that actually is the truth. When we release things that we're carrying, our body works better. We have more energy. We regain life. So that's why.
That's right.
That's why it's called that.
Well, Kate just carried a baby, and that was an extra like 35 pounds.
40 pounds.
40 pounds.
And so I really noticed the difference of what that is, carrying around an extra 40 pounds than you're used to, and how taxing that is on your joints and your body and your movement. So.
And I just carried him in a little carrying case. He's only 19 pounds or 18 pounds, and I did about an hour walk this morning. And at the end of it, I was like, wow. Pregnant women are my new heroes. So what you can expect is we're going to be sharing some life-changing training around releasing weight. And it's a little bit different than you're used to, because we're going to be unpacking the 5 big mistakes that people make when they approach weight loss. And the first one is they call it weight loss. So they go looking for it. And so stick around to the very end. We have a special offer for you while you're watching this, so just during this call. So we'll share that with you then. So I'm going to introduce myself and say hello. My name is Paul Green. Some of you know me from yes. Oh no, one drink it.
Okay.
Some of you know me from acting and my TV shows, but one of my biggest passions is health and well-being. I started in the fitness business as a cover model for Men's Health, Men's Fitness, Men's Journal, and a bunch of fashion magazines, and I had to look very fit, which is easier in your 20s. And then my dad got very sick from ALS, Lou Gehrig's, and passed away from it. And for about 7 years, we were trying to keep him healthy and on the planet. And there was a big journey of detoxification and of prevention that I went on with my dad. And a lot of those practices have stuck with me and turned my life around to really understanding dis-ease in the body, and when things go out of balance, how it can affect so many things. So that's a little bit about me, and I take care of the fitness and the well-being side of this. I'll be your vitality strategy coach during this. And this here is Kate Austin. I like to always introduce you, but you go ahead.
So I started this company, the Freedom Alchemists, 4.5 years ago. And it was really because I could see how many people just didn't have the tools or the way in which to really empower themselves, love themselves, and move themselves into a state where they can create. Too many people were in survival rather than creation. So that was where it was born from. And then I'm a Tony Robbins trained strategic intervention coach. I also have my master's in neuro-linguistic programming. So I'm really passionate about helping people really understand how powerful and magnificent they are, and to give them access to the tools that they can really transform their lives. So I'm really passionate about that.
And NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, helps her. She's really trained at identifying people's sabotage mechanisms, and they're almost like their upper limit problems, and what causes people to get a certain amount of success, whether it's in weight loss or in relationships or finance, and then they blow it up. Kate's trained in actually identifying people's upper limit problems and creating strategies around it. Yeah. It's a really cool degree. It's a really neat
I'm a strategist. I'm a life strategist. I help people really get in there and interrupt
patterns. And we interrupt each other all the time.
Especially me.
She loves it. It's the Aussie way. I'm a Canadian, Kate's an Aussie. And at first I got offended. I was like, would you let me finish, please?
Canadians are so polite, right?
Canadians wait their turn.
We're Aussies just jump
Aussies
on
are so the funny thing, you're here possibly because we shared about weight loss, weight release, which is why we called it weight release. We'll get into that a little bit later in the training. But we never started off as a weight loss program. It's just the number one side effect that our participants report is as they get free from the story that they made up about their past or some resentment around somebody that may have abused them. And go ahead.
On top of tools that everybody should know but don't, about just basics on really how to have this extraordinary organism work. Your body wants to work perfectly. It wants to heal. It wants to be in equilibrium. And it's very simple, but it takes consistency in order to really get your body back to how it wants to be. And so we really help people get to that place where their body heals. They no longer need medications. They no longer, and we don't tell anyone to get off things, but they naturally don't need medications when you get your body back into an equilibrium and you're releasing weight and everything's starting to work and function exactly as we're born and meant to be.
Yes, it was sort of a Trojan horse effect where people came in for one reason and ended up getting something else in the main, we've had folks release up to 100 pounds.
Over 100 now.
Over 100, some 90, some 70, some 60 pounds. And this is
a lot of 50.
But it wasn't like an overnight boom. A lot of things, some of them it's taken them a year, but this weight will stay off forever because they became their best coach, their own strategist, and they use the tools that we gave to know how to ask questions to their physicians and not just take whatever they were told and be a good boy and just obey and then be sick and on medications for the side effects of the other medications, like the loop. And many of you know what I'm talking about with that loop. And one side effect of some medications is water retention and weight gain. And so it's a really beautiful thing. Kate and I, there's sort of the magic and the beauty of our program is people transform in just sort of like the right way that they need. And you may be coming here today for weight release or to learn a little bit more about the 5 big mistakes that people make. But our intention and our prayer is that you will leave with so much more. You will leave with a couple really powerful tools that you can put into place, and life will never be the same. And there is a potential for you to live a life that you love, like where you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're in love with that person. You have integrity because you did what you said you would do. You love your shape. You feel energetic because you've learned how to really bring your body into balance. And those are some of the tools that we've spent our lives putting together. And you could probably find some of these scattered on YouTube and in different books. But what we've done, especially my passion has been this from my whole life, is put it together in a bit of an approach that seems to really work well for people, especially in this area of loving themselves and releasing weight.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is the community and accountability. We can all try and do things alone, but we're all a little bit slippery, and when it comes to us, we'll let ourselves off the hook, or maybe we start shaming and guilting ourselves because we fell off the train. We started eating all the things that we shouldn't. And then because you feel bad about yourself, you eat more of the things you shouldn't. And then you just give up on yourself. And then you're on the shame train.
And the vicious cycle.
Yeah. And it's a vicious cycle that keeps looping. So that's one of the things we'll talk to you about. But basically having accountability, having the top 5 people that you surround yourselves with is what you're going to be like. So you gotta, choose your friends and, be around family wisely, right? And so that is another thing, is recreated a community that really has each other's backs, that are really cheering for each other to have everything they want. And when you surround yourself in a community like that, then things start to happen. It is also one of the number 1 hacks of longevity, is making sure you're in a community of like-minded people that really inspire you. And
you have something to wake up for in the morning. The communities in the world that live the longest have the tightest knit community systems. So they have integrated things they do as a community, and having something to wake up for in the morning turns out to be the key to longevity, ahead of drinking water and going for walks and taking fancy courses and all that. Many of you are here for different reasons. Some of you are familiar faces, but also I want you to get out a notebook and a piece of paper and a pen,
or just your notes on your phone, whatever works.
Because we're going to be giving you so much goodies that if you even took one of them and used it, you would find some quick transformation in your life. These are some of the most powerful tools that we've come across in our lives. And I've spent a life looking for these, and I'm always learning. I'm kind of passionate about discovering tools that,
and especially hacks. He loves a hack.
Well, I have to be able to I always have to be fit for my job to be on movie screens, but I also am addicted to feeling good. And as I age and have a brand new baby, it's very important for me to know that when I have grandkids, that I'm going to be able to play volleyball, and I'm interested in having my body wake up in the morning with energy and vitality. And then now that I've discovered all of these, I want to share it with people, because it's almost become a mission for me to help other people experience what it's like to live a life that's really enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it sounds too simple, but it comes down to a choice. And then we should
multiple choices, moment by moment choices, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and I want to say, just on this, we look at Paul and it's like, oh, he's a handsome, strapping man. It's easy for him, right? Compliment. So
it's my love language, by the way. We cover body, mind, and connection. And in our ongoing course, we have a monthly membership that people can be a part of. And we often share relationship goodies. And one of the books we recommend and teach from is The 5 Love Languages, and understanding your partner's love language. And one of mine is...
He has all of them.
I have all of them.
He needs all of them.
It's a lot of work.
Now you've gone down a whole different train.
Yes. You might see Paul.
Oh yeah, so it's just nice and easy.
I didn't forget.
Nice and easy for him to just do all this stuff. But actually, it's never too late. And some of the people that have had the most extraordinary results in our program are the people that are the oldest in our program.
I want to read Niva's testimony right now. It's a little early,
sure,
but because she's one of our. I wouldn't.
So age is not a factor. That's what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't. You're never too old to really go for this and really have take your life back and have all the vitality that you want. So this is Niva.
Now this is from Niva. Now
she's with us today.
She's here today. And one cool thing, just so you know, there's a 6-week breakthrough journey that we're sharing with you now that is starting on June 6th, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we've distilled a lot of the tools that Niva has used into this course. And you will see some of them will be directly for weight release and management, but a lot of it is mind and relationships. And believe it or not, getting complete with somebody that you've been resenting for 15 years will possibly have you release 15 pounds of hate weight.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of the tools that we've really made a trim, fine-tuned 6-week, which is really an 8-week journey, because you get 2 weeks in our ongoing monthly course. Go ahead.
I really want to say on that, the reason our program works and that it somehow became a weight loss program is because we address so many of the other aspects. It's weight loss is a full body, mind, and emotional thing. Mm-hmm. Now, if we have unresolved relationships, unresolved traumas, all of these things, it doesn't matter what kind of diet we go on. We're gonna revert back and just put all the weight back on if we don't deal with the root cause as to why we started putting on weight in the first place. And it's almost always emotional. That's the reason why we eat, and it could just be that when mom was, as a reward, mom would give you cookies when you were a good girl or a good boy. And so what do? We associate cookies with love. And so then we eat whenever we're not feeling loved.
Or if you're hurt, they'll give you candy if you're hurt. So every time you're a little bit hurt, you're like, candy,
so
sugar.
When parents are trying to stop you from crying and they give you food, right, unfortunately, they're programming you that this is what it is to feel better, have love. And so we get programmed from a very young age, very, very young. And that's why we might turn to food when we're upset or when our lives not going the way we want it to. So we have to identify the root cause of why we're wanting to eat, and rather than just going on a diet, cutting out this, struggling, and then yo-yoing back to where we were.
Yes.
Anyway,
so we'll
get back to that.
Yes.
But
no, I love that, babe. So Neva has done these tools that you'll be getting in this 6-week journey that's coming up on June 6th. And you will have a special price. So just stick around to the end of this. That will have a special offer just for this time that we're together. So life was passing me by. I just didn't want to admit it. Nearing my 77th birthday, I told myself that I was fulfilled, happy, and at peace with my life. And I fed that lie with whatever I could find to eat. The only requirement was that sugar was the first ingredient. Go ahead, you read that bit.
When my daughter mentioned that she had signed up for the course, I heard inside my head, I need to do that. I decided to give it a try. Thank goodness I did. Down over 100 pounds 2 years later, this course has far exceeded my expectations. I have learned so much about myself, both physically and emotionally. Yes, the sugar addiction has been forever broken, and I am again exercising and enjoying life because of how it makes me feel stronger, powerful, beautiful, and truly excited about what each new day brings.
Yes. And that's one of the most beautiful things for us to hear is that somebody has regained, sort of got in the driver's seat of their life. And quite often we're on autopilot. How many of you have driven somewhere and you have no idea how you got there, and you're how did I get here? And a lot of people get to certain milestones like age 40 or age 50 or age 60, and they're like, how did I get here? They don't even, they're not even necessarily living their life.
No, and they accept ailments, pain, suffering, sleep deprivation, whatever it is. That's just how it is. This is my life now. Yeah. And they just accept it. And it's like, you get to have an extraordinary, pain-free, amazing body that works at no matter what age, no matter what it's gone through.
That's right. Mm-hmm. It's time for us to crack into these 5 biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to lose weight. And the first mistake is they call it losing weight. And now by the time you're here, you've probably heard me say this many times, and some of our folks who've heard this before really get it. But if you lose your car keys, you're going to try to find them. If you lose your way, you're going to try to find your way. And quite often when people lose weight, they go looking for it, and it's not long before they
don't know they're looking for it, but it happens.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And so we pay very close attention to language, mm-hmm. especially self-talk language. Mm-hmm. That little voice in your head, sometimes it's the sound of a critical parent that's judging your every move. And we are very cruel to ourselves and our thoughts.
We would never be friends with someone as mean to us as the way we are to ourselves, ever. Yeah. So we really work on that self-talk and the language. It's in our language that things are created. Yeah. So this is a very strong point for us. Yes. We make sure that we correct people if they're being deprecating, or if they're saying weight loss.
That's right. Well, yes. And one of the first things we do is have you create declarations, which is sort of like a goal, mm-hmm. but in language, creating something powerful of what you want, not what you don't want. Mm-hmm. And so Kate and I are very trained in sniffing out foul language. And so you will read, as a part of it, you will post your declarations. There's a Facebook group for the journey, for each journey. Mm-hmm. And you'll post your declarations there, and we'll have a look at them. And we're really good at helping you sort of trim them down so and
to make tiny adjustments just so they're stated in the positive, in the present.
Yes. And so language is so important. So that's the mm-hmm. first common mistake people make, is they're very sloppy with their language. And the main thing is calling it weight loss. And that's just a little doorway into language. We have a whole piece on conscious communication and on language. But the second biggest mistake that people make is
people have no why. Now, a lot of people are like, I want to lose the pounds. And I was like, why?
Right.
Because if we're just trying to grab for a number, it's not exciting. It's not going to pull us forward to have us really go for it. You have to be connected to what it affords you if you're 40 pounds less than you are right now.
Yeah.
What is available when you're not carrying around that physical and emotional weight in your body anymore? And that's what we want people to get really connected to. Your why is the thing that's going to make or break your journey. If you don't have a strong why, then that cookie or that muffin is going to be way more appealing than actually having your goals, your dreams, your ideal body weight, all of that sort of stuff. You're going to go for the quick fix every single time.
That's right. Having a strong why is, I mean, in acting, knowing why I'm in a scene too really helps me. And, you know, when I have an 18-year-old and a 5-month-old, he's 5 months already. I just like 3-month-old. But like with, you know, there's really understand, if I can connect to my why with being a parent, like, and it's no effort, it's no it's no trouble to me to spend time raising them because I have a very strong why. And the same with acting. I know why I'm in a scene. If I can figure out what my character's doing and why he's doing it, I have no trouble like going for that thing, going after it, because I'm very clear on why I'm going after it. And so you can mention in the comments some of your whys. That'd be really helpful. Like, what is your why for being here, or your why for releasing weight?
I see one there saying, my declaration is to live a pain-free day. Now I would right away jump on that.
She's gonna jump on it. She smells it. She smells something.
I'm sniffing it out. Why would you stop at a day? Why stop at a day? I know right now it feels like that might feel impossible just to have a day. I just want one day where I'm pain-free. Guess what? You get to have a whole life pain-free. So
but even further, the brain hears pain.
Yeah, the brain.
You can even go one step further and create a day where you live filled with energy, vitality. All of your systems and your body is working in harmony with one another. If you mention the word pain, your brain tends to give you more pain. That's just the way that it kind of works. So how would you rephrase her statement?
Well, it has to be very personal, but I would say for you, what would it look like? A pain-free day, what would be available if there's no pain? What would be available to you? And so you would say, oh, I would run and I would play on the beach, or I would get my the garden, or my grandkids, or my child, and we'd like do all these things, you know. So I'd want you to really look at what's available when that thing that's the bane of our existence right now is no longer present. Because when we have a headache, we're consumed by the headache. But when we don't have a headache, we're not thinking, oh, I don't have a headache. We're just going about our day. So what we want to get you connected to is when that thing that's the bane of your existence is no longer present, what is available, and we put those as our whys and our declarations, so that's what the subconscious mind will grab onto, is that visual, not the visual of pain-free. Because if you say pain-free, there's still pain in that sentence. So you're going to think about pain.
Beautiful. Yeah. So getting clear on a very strong why. Oh, and I forgot to do this at the beginning. Put your phones on airplane mode. We have only about a half hour left. We're going to be brief and bold and to the point. So there is some goodies in here, I promise you, that could change the direction of your life. And one of our teachers said, you don't have to change your life that much to end up on a different continent. Like, imagine a ship and the navigation. If right back here, let's say at the age you're at, you adjust just 3 degrees, maybe that's greatly reducing sugar, processed foods, and walking every day. That's a slight shift. But 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, you're in a different continent.
A totally different continent. And probably a much more fabulous one.
Yeah, you're on the fun side of the island.
Right? That's where we want to be. I want to be there doing all the fun things. I don't want to be, over here in a war zone.
Yeah.
That's what we want you to do. It's just tiny degrees where you make tiny consistent actions and choices that get you to exactly where you want to go. It's not some big thing where you starve yourself. Anyway, we're going to get to that.
Yeah,
I won't jump the queue.
It's hard not to jump the queue. So, as you can tell, Kate and I are very excited. And we love more than anything hearing people say we have literally, their lives have been saved. Some from medication, some from just having a relationship back with their parents. Like we're
Their
not
children.
We're not just about weight release. Like I said, it's a Trojan horse. We share the gamut of communication tools, and also obviously inside of Kate has a really powerful training in discipline of the mind and your thought life. And then I share some of the physical attributes and biochemical ways to feel better, but they all work together in harmony in a really powerful way. So the third big common mistake that people always make is when they get a certain level, they sabotage. Like,
or they have a goal, right? They're like, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. And then they get to the 30 pounds and then they're like, great, now I'm going to stuff my face with pizza and all the things because I deserve it.
Fit a wedding dress or something.
Yeah. You know, everyone loses weight for an event and then they scoff themselves afterwards. That's called an upper limit problem. And that's a sabotage that we do because we are forever evolving and ever growing. And if we cap it, like we think it's a destination, but life is a journey. It's a continuation. So we don't end it at one point. That might be a marker for where you want to get to. And then we keep creating from that place. So the biggest thing why people yo-yo is they create a goal and they grit it and they starve themselves and they do all the things that the diet tells them to do. And then the minute they get to their goal, great. Now I'm just going to go back to how I was. And that's called sabotage. It's also using diets and fads and all these things that people sell you on that has no longevity. You cannot continue on that for your whole life because you're calorie restricting or you're doing this or you're doing that. And life happens. We want life to be fun. We want you to eat delicious food. We don't want you to have to, you know, not have what you want. We'll be able to have the cake at the party, things like that. You can have all of those things if you create a balanced way of really and maintaining a lifestyle. So this is about creating a lifestyle where you don't have to limit things.
That's right. And having an environment, a group of tribe members and people that are actually pulling you forward, not backwards, which is Kate mentioned earlier about you're the average of the 5 friends you spend the most time with. Well, we have with us a whole community of people that will be rooting for you to live your best life. So what happens when people get a certain level of happiness, love, money, weight loss, they sabotage it, they blow it up. It's like a thermostat of how good they're willing to have it. And so all of us have it in different areas. And then we do these big leaps. And there's a great book we love called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And he explains how to make that big leap. And we actually teach some of that here in our ongoing course. And so understanding that, you know, that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make is that sabotage mechanism or that thermostat of how good you're willing to have it is a blind spot. It's an area you don't know that you don't know. And one of the things, especially Kate's really good at, is shining a little spotlight on some of these shadowy areas that you may not know that you don't even know them. They're blind to you. And a lot of those are, why do we blow things up when things are going so great? Yeah.
And a lot of people have a lot of self-worth issues. Now, I remember I got told I had that when I was very young, and I thought I was fantastic at the time. I was like, what are you talking about? And the person said to me, whenever you talk about, you know, because I was a business manager, it was one of my companies when I was very young. They said, you know, whenever you talk about earning money, you talk about buying a house for your mom, doing this for this person, and you are never in the picture. And it really took me a moment to see that was, you know, and that sounds like a very noble, sweet person, right? But there was nothing in there for me. So there was a deep belief that I wasn't actually worthy underneath all of that. So a lot of people think they're not worthy of being fit, of being, you know, fulfilled, of loving themselves, all of these things. So we really want to look at these areas as well to make sure that that's not part of your story. And it's usually pretty underground, undercover. So for some people, it's not. They just straight out can't look in the mirror and say, I love you. to themselves. You know,
Yeah.
it's very obvious to some people, but for some others, it's a little bit more undercover. So we want to shine lights on these things to really make sure that you're not hitting that glass ceiling and being like, this is as far as I'm allowed to go because I'm not really worth it, or I'm not valuable, or I don't deserve this. So we want to look at those things too.
Stacy says for many years she never even looked in the mirror, and you're not alone, Stacy. That changes quickly. We have an exercise where we have people look in the mirror, give themselves some extra sugar and some extra love. Not candy sugar, but like verbal sugar. So the fourth big common mistake that people make when they're trying to lose weight is they crash the core, like they, just like an exam, they starve themselves, or they have a wedding to go to, so they crash course it, and they are so intense, and they do dramatic, radical, very hard things on their body. Like maybe they'll completely starve themselves and or walk 12 miles a day, and you know, they'll
not so bad, but
extreme though, but to go from 0 to hero, you'll get hurt. Need to work up to that. And so one of the tools we introduce is consistency versus intensity. So just like the rabbit and the turtle, the tortoise and the hare, is consistency wins over intensity every time. You do 15 minutes of something a day. At the end of the year, that's 1% of your day. At the end of the year, you are 365% further along. And so that's a big mistake people make, is they go so hard, so intense, and they crash, and they get discouraged, or they burn out, or they hurt themselves. And so bringing one of our favorite tools, and this can work for you right now, is just, if you want to play guitar, play 15 minutes a day. It's 1% of your day. If you want to play piano, if you want to
learn a language, do pottery class, you know, whatever things that light you up and really spark joy, we really encourage that, because so many people just get in the humdrum of life, and it's just Groundhog Day, and then you're just not really living, you're not really enjoying, you're not experiencing the full gamut of all your emotions. Now that's another thing, we welcome all emotions. You know, in a lot of societies, like, oh, anger is not allowed, or this is bad, or this is bad. There's no good, bad, right, or wrong with how we teach. It's like, what experience are you wanting to have? And we allow emotions to flow freely. We celebrate breakdowns in the same way we celebrate breakthroughs, because breakdowns usually lead to a breakthrough. They always do. You know, it's just how quickly are you willing to look for the lesson or be in the drama. That's what it is. So we really understanding how emotions move through our body, and allowing them to, giving yourself full self-expression and permission to really experience whatever you're experiencing, rather than trying to be even keel and keep it all nice, keep it together, like, let's be perfect. There's none of that. We celebrate all shapes and sizes, all the ups and downs, no good, bad, no right, wrong. It's just what experience do you want to have?
Yes. Okay. And the fifth common mistake people make when they're trying to release weight, are you ready for it? Are you ready? Is they look for quick little easy fad pills, or they buy into the late night TV thing that says, if you order this, spend $79, we'll ship you this thing. And they show you all these pictures of models, and then if you read the small print, they're like, it'll say this model has never actually used this product. So it's a very common mistake to buy into the marketing and the sales around dieting, and a lot of people will want to do it really quickly and fall into a fad. And this also ties into the consistency over intensity. But if you are able to do something, even if it's very simple, every single day, and I'm talking like drink an extra couple glasses of water and walk an extra few thousand steps, but if you did that consistently, you will transform dramatically over the course of a few months. And of course, we share a lot more than that for you to be able to release weight quicker. But as you're doing it, what's the most important is so much better than a quick pill or a quick fix, is you become educated about how your body works. We talk about colonics in our advanced course. Actually, in even in the best you, the journey we're sharing with you, we encourage these colonics because once you understand how your digestive system works, you'll be a lot slower to shove processed crap inside of yourself unconsciously while you watch TV. Once you understand the function of your gallbladder and your liver, and it is so important to fall in love with this miracle that your body is. We are
walking miracles. We are extraordinary. This is why I hate when people say, I am enough. I'm like, no, you're a miracle. You're extraordinary. Start acting like it, you know? And so it's to really understand how this extraordinary thing works. You know, we wake up and we just breathe. We take it all for granted that everything just works until something doesn't work. And then we moan and get upset and we feel like a victim because something's not working. But it's like you stopped paying attention and your body gives you very clear signals as to what it needs. And you got to make sure you stop just taking pills to mask the symptoms that your body is telling you. So we teach you how to really listen to your body, how to listen for what it's trying to tell you so that you can make the choices and you can make adjustments before it's a crisis. We're all about being proactive instead of reactive. So many people won't look after their health until they get a really scary prognosis from a doctor. Now, we don't want that. We want you to take control of your health and your life and really feel extraordinary, not just getting by or just doing what you can to be not in pain. No, that's not a life. You get to have all of life. You get to feel extraordinary every day. And it's going to take you being committed and being in an environment that pulls for that and doing moment by moment choices so that you get. And here's the thing, we're human. We fall off the train all the time and then we shame ourselves and guilt ourselves. None of that. We get to be human beings, right? And sometimes we're great. Sometimes we're a little naughty. Sometimes we're all the things, right? And so celebrate that and then make a better choice next time. If you make a choice that doesn't suit what your why is, where you're going, no problem. Just make a better choice in the next moment. Enjoy that moment fully. Eat that donut and enjoy it if that's what really is your heart's desire in the moment, and then make a better choice afterwards. Don't just fall off the train and keep going. That's what we're really big proponents of.
Right, because the fallout from you beating yourself up for eating that donut will cause you to eat more donuts rather than you actually enjoying every moment of it and being so present to it and being like, all right, I'm allowing myself this. And I don't need to derail myself now for the next 2 months and go back to my junk food and Hallmark binge or Netflix binge, right? So I know who I'm talking to.
And our minds are so important, are so powerful. You know, if you eat a donut and then you instantly feel guilty and bad about it, then that's where it just is like, oh, we'll just store this in all the places you don't want it the most. Whereas if you just enjoy it and say, this is what I'm doing,
that's right.
It can process a lot easier and just be gone. So we want to detach the guilt and the shame from the health journey, right? And so that's part of the thing we focus on, really that mind game and how you can empower yourself day by day, moment by moment.
That's right. I love that. So those are the top 5. There's more. There's some bonuses here that I want to just touch on, that if you get these are domino pieces. Understanding one of them, which is my favorite, is the gut biome, which is understanding how the healthy bacteria in your stomach and how it actually works and how to support that and how to feed it. And what are probiotics, what are prebiotics, what does Roundup and glyphosates do to the junctures in your that thin cell membrane between your stomach and the rest of your body? Yeah. I
want to just say, because people are like, Roundup, why is he talking about weed killer in life and when it comes to our gut? Here's the thing. Roundup is in everything. So it's in our table water. It's in like so much of the produce. Even if we get organic, it might be an organic farm, whereas next to it they spray. So some of it comes across. So unfortunately in America, Europe is much better. In America, you have Roundup, which is glyphosates in everything. And that's in our biome and it's killing all the good bacteria.
What it does is it jams open in your cell, you've heard of leaky gut syndrome. where people, if they eat a little bit of bread, they just react dramatically, or they eat something, and somebody who has vicious allergies, there's a really good chance they have leaky gut. And so in the 70s, when they allowed this incredible chemical, glyphosate in Roundup, it actually, that little thin cell membrane that's in your stomach, it creates permeability. And then you need that to be very nice, the junctures to be tight. And so anything you're eating creates a really brutal reaction. And then all of a sudden you're allergic to everything, and everything makes you inflamed and
puffy, bloated, and all of that.
And so we go into that deeply, the gut biome. We've done entire months on the gut, understanding it. And Zach Bush is a guy that I'm having on my podcast to discuss it. We bring on experts to share their wisdom.
Yeah. And don't worry if this sounds really out of the box or really like over your head, because if you join us, you'll know all about this. We'll make it fun to be geeky about your gut. And it's your second brain. It's where our whole brain.
Your brain, your nursing, your neural networks, your
immune system.
Yes.
It's your whole immune system. It starts in your gut. So especially as we've been dealing with a pandemic for years, you want to have this gut biome working beautifully, because if that's all good, you're not going to be as susceptible to catch anything that's going around. And if you do, your body will be able to fight it off much faster.
That's right.
So we want this, this second brain. And that's why when people say I had a gut feeling and that gut feeling was right, it is very important. It is our second brain. It helps guide us through life. It is one of the things that we want to have totally tuned up so that we can make better decisions and choices for our life. And so that's a big thing that we want to really get into.
Kate's excited about the gut biome.
I'm totally excited.
So these are, we shared with you the top 5 mistakes, but that's one of the bonus ones. But I'm going to skip these other ones because we've got a lot to cover.
Yes.
But I'll just touch on it quickly. People focus on pounds, not inches. They eat low fat, thinking they're going to lose weight. And we have a whole month on fat so that you'll eat good fats. Fat is not making you fat. Sugar is making you fat. And extended binges on Netflix is helping the sugar. And then having no plan is one of the biggest mistakes that people make as well. So we read Neva's testimonial. We're going to share Claire's testimonial. Claire said, on here too. Claire's on here as well. Claire said, I'd already lost a substantial amount of weight when I joined the Freedom Tribe, but I had got to the point where I had plateaued, and I knew that there were things that were still far from right about my diet, and more so my mindset. The start of the weight release always has energy and enthusiasm, but then when you get to the final stages, let alone the maintenance part, it seems to be a much more than the reliance on pounds and inches. Go ahead.
I remember writing about my weight release journey in the first few weeks and declaring how by the end of June, I would be within my ideal weight range, not quite knowing or believing at the time how I was actually going to get there. The tools that the Freedom Tribe teach are enduring and give you the ability to truly believe in yourself, putting in place the goals and dreams, the why, that carry you through the humps and bumps and ensuring longevity far beyond your target. Yes, Claire, exactly. In the next couple of weeks, I will have achieved that dream, but now that is only the beginning. Yes.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Claire. And the before and after pictures are wild.
Just wild.
On Deborah's too, and Neva's. You can see those on our website, which is freedomalchemist.com with a little dash in the middle, freedom-alchemist. Deborah Cadill says, I started the work in this group May 10th, 21, which is a year ago. I was at a low, hopeless point in my life. I felt like my whole life revolved around medicine and doctors. I was seeing 4 regularly, and I was still not getting any help. Everything was continuing to get worse. And I'm so thankful that I joined this group. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that this has saved my life. In 1 year, these are her wins. She has released, this is Deborah, has released 85.8 pounds, come off 5 medications and cut 1 in half, dropped 2 doctors. All right, 2 more to go. Skin is improved. Mobility is improved greatly. I can't even describe how much better I feel. I mean, there is no movie review or someone that I've ever heard that makes me feel the way that makes me feel. I know that the films and TV that I do, and Kate's a really brilliant actor as well, and or the music that I make, I know it touches people, but to hear that
saved a life,
that touches a different part of my soul. And I just want to thank you for dragging me along into this.
I dragged him kicking and screaming. I was like, listen, you cannot die with this inside you. You have to share it. People need to know what you know. And so, you know, it really took something to get him on board here. And now he's like, thank you so much.
Yeah,
whenever we hear these things.
There's just a lot of fulfillment when you hear that things are making a difference for others in your life.
Yeah.
And these are folks just like you watching this. This is they're special, but everybody is very similar in their ability to and remember what I want. This is my most beautiful favorite analogy is the statue of David is this piece of marble, and it took Michelangelo to, when they said it was and this piece of marble was turned down by many sculptors, and when he was asked, and this is written down, that he said that when he looked at this marble, all he had to do is remove the parts that weren't David. And so you are a work of art. You are a gorgeous sculpture. And what's the ability and the potential for here is for you to remove parts
that aren't
really you anyway, and they're not serving you. They're not making you feel very good. And they're underneath. In some cases, people have extra weight they're holding, and maybe some people are just holding resentment and unforgiveness in their face, and that there's a beautiful, gorgeous face under there once you forgive and release some of that resentment.
That's the one thing I love is not only when, you know, as we say, weight loss is just a side effect, but it's the glow, it's the vitality, it's the energy, it's the way people start living their lives, which is really exciting. Weight loss is great, whatever.
So
it's all the other parts. And
that from that version, you're whole, perfect, and complete, meaning you don't have to fix yourself, and you're not going to be if you're skinnier version, you're not going to be like, then you're not worthy. Then like you are the sculpture, and you're just going to remove the parts that aren't necessarily you. We want to approach it from the place of you already being wonderful,
extraordinary, magnificent.
Because if you can't love yourself where you're at, you're not going to have the fuel to keep going. Yeah. And that's what that's about. You're going to read this one?
No, I want to go into what we're offering, and then we can do that in a minute. Okay. But basically what we offer is a 6-week journey, which is guided with us. And you get 2 coaching sessions with us, but weekly content in which to really take actions. You get accountability groups, so you're there to really be with each other and help each other and grow together. We used to do this program, and it was $400, but we've simplified it because it was a lot. People were getting overwhelmed with how much it was. We've simplified it, and then we've made it so that people can jump on easily. It's usually $125 for the program, and then you get 2 weeks for free with our Freedom portal. So you get to see what the big community is like and be a part of that for 2 weeks, and then you can stay on with us, or you can complete. Either way is how it works.
So what we're passionate about is we had this ongoing membership that is $25 that people would come in, and we would pick a topic for the month. But our new folks would come into this moving train of all this information, and people who have been with us for several years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. We've probably had close to 1,000 people total come through our program. And so we wanted to create a bit of an onboarding program, and that's what this Best You Breakthrough is, which was previously called Breakthrough Best You Boot Camp, but we didn't want to scare people who
feel like boot camps are scary.
Who are scared of boot camp. I'm like, would I go to a boot camp? I'm like, sounds intense. I like consistency over intensity. So we wanted to create this program. Susan already signed up yesterday
with the special pricing. Well, guess what, Susan? I love that you just jumped in. And for the rest of this call, we're offering that pricing. It was the Memorial Day sale pricing. So for anyone that jumps on, like Susan, and just sees it for themselves and wants to jump in, you'll get the $99 price until the end of this call.
So if you're watching this,
so we've got
that's
10
available
minutes.
during this 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then it just goes up to a very affordable.
It's still $125, which is absolutely extraordinary. Everyone that does it is like, it's worth so much more. And you really get a lot. And we're in this so it's accessible for people to really get their lives. That's what we care about.
Yeah.
And then the ongoing, if you decide to continue, it's $24.99 a month. But that's your choice. If you feel like you want that and you want the community, it's totally your choice and not necessary if you don't want to. So, but this journey, this 8 weeks will already boost you and give you that real baba boom that you want. And we're coming into summer. Who doesn't want to feel extraordinary? Who doesn't want to figure out how to release all those extra things that we're carrying around, emotional, spiritual, physical weight? So so that's why we're going for it now. And the next program starts on June 6th. So next week, very soon. So we'll get straight into it. Is a link in the website? Yes, it's in the website. And there's also Ruth just posted on the chat there. You can click on the offers. Ruth, if you could just keep posting that link so that people can just click on it. Yeah.
And if you're watching this, you'll be getting a link with this as well. So the first week we cover, we cover declarations, hydration, sleep, movement, exercise, and celery juice. We could go on for celery juice for quite a while. The second week is setting you up for the win, morning rituals, bee savers. And the third week is to supercharge your immune system, understanding your gut and sugar. And we introduce some fasting to you. Mm-hmm. We tackle fear, anxiety, why, not how. Week 4 is integrity, your integrity to yourself and others, to your integrity inside your body, restoring love and affinity in your relationships. Mm-hmm. Week 5 is the 1% rule, which is consistency versus intensity, habit stacking, and does this cleanse or clog? And then week 6 is a road to rebuilding your relationships. We introduce you to the love languages, generous listening, acknowledgement. Week 7 is where you're good there.
Yeah.
You don't want to share that week 7? Okay.
Week 7 and 8 are nice little bonuses.
But you'll be in the big community to experience what that's like. But just to give you a taste.
And it's basically commitment equals freedom and creating a life you love. So it's like really creating the plan for the next part of your journey.
And as you do this, the weight melts off your body.
KB just signed up and she's excited.
Beautiful.
What happens if you miss a session?
It's recorded.
Everything, there's nothing that you'll miss. So it's all recorded. You'll be able to rewatch if you can't come to a coaching, but all of the work you will have for an entire year. So you've got it there. It's an app on your phone. So it's super easy to access. So yay, Susan and KB, we're excited to have you.
Beautiful. And so what this is, as you go through this, your body will release unnecessary things, the weight of the world, as well as some inches. And we focus on inches because as you're exercising, often you're building muscle.
And muscle weighs more than weight.
It does. And so there's nothing better for longevity than community, but also resistance training of some kind.
Hey, Diane.
Awesome, Diane. That's great. Do we want to read another testimonial?
We sure do.
Okay, great.
And something, guys,
we're so excited you're with us. Guys. Thank you. And we have 8 minutes left. We'll be wrapping this up shortly.
Something I want you to be aware of too is just signing up to something that is for you and your body and your health. What you'll notice even before we start, magic starts to happen. You'll be like, I suddenly just dropped a pound out of nowhere. I haven't even started, things like that just start to happen. It's because we're literally declaring that we're going to take some actions that are really supporting everything that we're desiring and we're wanting for our body and for our health. And so things start to happen even before you start. So Yeah, that's the fun part of it all.
That is.
All right.
Beautiful.
So Bettina.
You go ahead.
So Bettina, I'm not sure if she's here. She's one of our European. She's here. She's one of our European
and that's
ladies.
The thing. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. You can tune in, and there will be an accountability group for you sort of in your time zone as we move forward with this.
Yeah,
so.
We have people in Australia, Africa.
That's what else
Europe.
you get. You get an accountability group, somebody to hold your nose to the fire. Hold your hand. That's what it is.
Be your cheerleader. Okay, Bettina was saying this course with these fantastic coaches and an amazing community changed my life forever. Where I started January 2021 was stressed out from my work, didn't eat well, didn't exercise, on painkillers after 2 spinal surgeries, the third one almost scheduled, needed meds for high blood pressure, didn't take care of myself at all, had a hard time looking in the mirror, always tired and powerless. Where I'm at now, May 2022, less stress due to reduced working hours. I wouldn't have made this decision without the course. And breath work, changed my diet and have a better relationship to food, reduced sugar and carbs, added celery juice, and much more veggies. I released 50 pounds. I move my body regularly. I don't need high blood pressure meds anymore, no painkillers, and no surgery. So she no longer had to do her surgery, which is extraordinary.
Oh, I love this.
Yes. I take time for myself, my dreams and goals. I like what I see in the mirror. I love myself and my life. I feel energetic, relaxed, and balanced. Of course, sometimes I'm at the point of reverting to old patterns, but all these tools I got here and this awesome community keep me getting back on the right track. Yeah, she's a human being, right? We fall off, but now she knows how to get back on, and the community supports her do it. So,
and if it doesn't,
yay, Bettina!
If you show up and do the work, and we can see who does the work, and you still aren't happy, we'll give you 100% your money back.
100%.
So there's no risk whatsoever. If you get in it, and you actually got to do the work. This is one of those things. It's not like watching TV though. You actually
not a Hallmark show.
you get the opportunity to show up for yourself in a powerful way and pull something towards you that you really want. And so we're really excited about that money back guarantee. And have we ever had to give any? Has anyone ever?
No, you know what? I have a wonderful story. It's like from early on. I had she wrote to me and she said she couldn't make it tonight, but she's one of our OGs. She's been with us for 4.5 years. And that's the thing. You don't have to stay with us for this long, but people get so addicted to the community and feeling good in this. It's like, it's a vibration, right? Feeling good in that community that they stay. And so we've had people that have stayed with us for the full 4.5 years that we've been doing this and all of our programs. But yeah, so this person, she signed up and she was like, I think I need to get a refund. I need my money back. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, no problem. If that's what you want, no problem. I sorted everything out and I asked her a few questions just to make sure. And she's like, yes. And I was like, no worries. Here's your money back. Refunded her. This was before the program even started, right? Anyway, then just before we started the program, she's like, I think I need back in. I think I want back in. And so I was like, whatever you want, no problem. You can come back in. And she's one of the people that has been with us for 4.5 years. She has now an extraordinary relationship with her husband. She's no longer battling anxiety. She's getting her art out into the world. She has released a lot of weight. She's just done extraordinary, beautiful things. And she was someone that could never be seen in front of people. You know, she was very quiet, didn't want to share, always believed that she would quit things. She is 4.5 years on still with us and just extraordinary. So yeah, if you need to leave the program, absolutely. And if you've got nothing from it, we will 100% give you your money back, but you have to show up for yourself and do this. This isn't a spectator sport.
Yes. And so we have a few minutes for some questions. If any of you have anything that might be in your way, feel free to ask it. Anne said, is there specific diet and calorie counting? Not really. No. There's many different approaches. Everyone's different. And so we'll provide you with many different tools for you that you'll be able to continue for your whole life, because calorie counting and restricted diets, they're not really that fun.
We're all about fun.
And you have to create something, and sometimes it might take a year of doing something, but it'll last forever. And so we want to make little shifts. And of course there's ways to do it fast, but usually you rubber band back when you try to do something very intense. So this is gentle, this is loving, but this works. And it stays.
Yes. Don was asking, is it group coaching or do you get personal one-on-one? It's group coaching, but if you put your hand up, you get coached one-on-one in front of the group, so the whole group gets the benefit of it. Because and the beauty of that is we realize we're not alone. So many times we think this is our problem. We realize, oh my gosh, that person's, oh my gosh, I see myself in that person and that person. And that's what bonds us as a community as well. We really share things that people think that you shouldn't share. But we allow things, it's, there's no taboos. It's like allowing things to be expressed, because once we name things, we can move them. And so we share in a group environment, but it's very loving, very safe. There is no negativity, no judgment. We actually have such an extraordinary group of people that are such big cheerleaders for each other. It's gorgeous.
Timmy said you make friends,
lifelong friends. You sure do.
Samsung 5M SM just joined. What's your name, Samsung, so we can look forward to you? Cindy just got brave and did it. That's amazing. Cindy Downard, and Stacy says I'm about to.
Stacy says I'm due for my whole family and not myself. That is most people's problem. Like, if this was for your child, you would sign up in a second.
That's right.
But it's for you, so people have to, and that's a self-worth issue. So that's what we want to dig into, because if you're not taking care of this amazing vessel, how are you going to take care of those you love? You got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, so that you can then do it from everyone else. One of my favorite things is we love people from the overflowing cup. We don't drain the cup to love others, because if people need love and there's nothing left in our cup for ourselves, we got nothing to give. We are just empty shells. So you got to love from your overflow. Don't drain the cup.
That's right. Christy's asking if she can pay in Canadian. Yes, of course. It'll just do it.
It'll just divert it for you.
And then how long are the sessions? They're roughly 90 minutes, the coaching. And like I said, if you could only make a part of it, we'll post the recording for you.
And the different modules, it's different timings. So you get a video and a ton of information for each of them. So there's all sorts of rabbit holes you can go down. There's a lot more than you can really go through in 6 weeks. So it's you've got it for a whole year. So there's nothing to worry about if you can't get through all of it in the time frame. You've got time.
And Sam says, I feel hope rising. Love that. The timing, they're usually at 5 o'clock Pacific, Kathleen. So that's 8 on the East Coast. Sue says, no, this is the same as Best You Boot Camp. We just adjusted the name to help those who were afraid of boot camp. So it's called Best You Breakthrough.
And there's some upgrades from the boot camp. Obviously, every time we do something, we continue to enhance it. So there's some enhance.
I love. You look really cute tonight.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Your accent even makes you cuter sometimes. Beautiful. Loves the answer. So one thing I just want to leave you with is the idea of a vicious cycle. So one of our teachers introduced us to this, and this will seem familiar to you. So a vicious cycle is when something that is bad for you feels good. And the biggest example is smoking. Or the easiest example, someone knows it's bad for them, but they'll have a cigarette, they'll feel better after.
They take that drag and they're like, oh, I'm so much better. It's
terrible for them, it's killing them, but it makes them feel better. Often
that's a toxic cycle.
And in a relationship, there's toxic cycles too. Where the relationship is poison, yet you keep choosing them. Or
you like fighting. It's like you need to fight to get something from the other person. That's a toxic cycle when you pick fights in order to keep that loop going.
That's
right. So it feels good even though it's bad.
And a sustainable cycle, the opposite, a healthy cycle, is when something that is good for you feels good. And I guarantee you, after this few weeks with us, going for a walk, having a sleep routine, taking your Epsom salt bath, making really powerful, beautiful choices with food that cleanses you and doesn't clog you, the things that are good for you will start to feel good, and you will break the toxic, vicious cycle. And that's it's such a beautiful, clear distinction. And oftentimes these are in our blind spots, these toxic cycles. And so the flashlight over here will help shine some light into those areas that you don't know that you don't know. And often we're in these toxic cycles, choosing things that we know are bad for us, but they feel good. And we want you to be in a sustainable cycle where the things you choose are good for you, and they feel good that they're good for you.
One of the things that people say the most is they no longer crave the cans of Coke or the sugar or things like that, because we get you into a place where you actually crave good food. You're not forcing yourself because it's good for you and you're calorie counting. You're craving the things that your body really desires so that it can heal itself. So that's one of the main things. And listen, every body is different. And that's why these fad diets don't work, because it might work for one person, but not the other. It's about equilibrium. We get the body, mind, spirit in an equilibrium. That's and right. The weight just melts away. That's why we say it's a side effect. And it's not the end goal. It's wonderful. The end goal is, though, your vitality, your life force, your longevity, your ability to connect and be present with your loved ones. That is a bigger goal rather than just releasing weight.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your generous listening, and what a powerful group that I can see. We can see you, and I can see in the comments that you guys are very engaged, and this is an important topic. People carrying around 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 pounds, it gets old. And it's, maybe you've tried things over and over again, and this is a little different. This is incredibly different, because it does come at it from a very holistic approach and a very loving approach. And you will be in good hands, very well taken care of. We've done this many, many, many times with many people and had really powerful, beautiful, sustainable results. So you will be in very good hands, and you'll probably want to bring somebody along with you. So maybe someone that this is right for. Send them the link. And like I said, the 125 is after this session with us. That's what it is.
Still an amazing deal. Just jump, just go for it, because you can always change your mind. If that's, if you're like, I shouldn't do this, or no, this isn't right, then you can change your mind. But just jump and just go for it. Come with us on a journey. We're really fun.
We do have a big goal of making a difference in this world. And so we want to grow this and really impact, thousands and millions of people and so you're still at the beginning of this with us, even though we're a few years and we've had about 1,000 people go through. We have big dreams to
just help millions. And one thing I love about this is, even people that aren't directly in our program, their whole family starts to get the benefit of this. Not only if you have more energy to be present and be with them, but you might be like, oh, hey, you might just drop a little knowledge bomb of something now, and that transforms lives. We've heard people saying, I told this person this, and then they did this, and now it's changed their life. And that's so exciting for people to have the knowledge that they can share. And so it's a ripple effect, right? We throw that pebble in the pond and it starts rippling out. The more people that know about ways in which we can get our bodies back to equilibrium, the more you guys can share with your communities, with your family, the more people get healed, the more people get to live the life that they're supposed to live.
That's right.
And that's what we care about. Like, let's get that ripple effect. Let's get everyone out there just really owning their health and their life, not dependent on pills and doctors and surgeries to maintain a half-life. We want to have you living a full life. So that's what we care about.
I think we covered everything. Thank you for
I love this. Tracie says, all of a sudden my daughter likes me and thinks I'm smart. That's awesome.
There's another comment that says you should go on a morning talk show and talk about this. It's true.
Maybe we'll probably have our own show one day. That's something that that I'm creating anyway. So we can really get out there on the mass, and you can be like, I was with them at the beginning of it all. So
thank you, Ruth Hill, for your help and your assistance. And like I said, please save this link. And if you have any further questions, you can go to freedom-alchemist.com. And an alchemist is somebody who turns pain into purpose.
Just like Jesus turned water into wine.
That's an alchemist.
That's an alchemist.
And you will be able to alchemize
pain into your purpose.
That's right. All right. With that, we'll say goodbye.
So good to be with you guys. Have an extraordinary night, day, wherever you are in the world.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.